Have you ever noticed how certain moments carry the unmistakable weight of destiny? How a single encounter, a single message, appears at precisely the instant you are ready to receive it. Out of the endless flood of noise and distraction pouring across your screen each day, this moment is broken through. Your attention has landed here, and that is no accident. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. Something deep within you already knows it. That subtle stirring in your chest, that quiet shift in your breathing, the way your eyes hold just a little longer on these words. These are the signals of a consciousness recalibrating itself in real time. The fact that you are here now, reading this instead of drifting into another mindless distraction, reveals that something within you is awakening. While millions scroll past opportunities they will never even notice, you're one of the rare few who pause, who listen, who recognize that what is unfolding is meant for you. Already, you have passed the first test that most fail without even knowing it exists. It is not a test of intelligence, not a test of knowledge, but a test of awareness. Most people are clicked away by now, captured by the next bright light, the next easy escape. But you remain, and in remaining, you reveal to yourself that you are different. You are not content with mediocrity. You are not here to let life slip past in a haze of repetition and numbing routines. You are here for something deeper. You are here for transformation. Listen closely to what is happening in your body even now. Your heart has shifted rhythm. Your breathing has slowed and deepened. Somewhere in the depths of your nervous system, dormant neural pathways have begun to flicker alive. You might not consciously detect it, but at this very moment, unseen chains are loosening. A field of infinite possibility is quietly opening around you. This is not motivational rhetoric. This is the physics of transformation. Scientists studying peak performance have long understood that change begins not in dramatic bursts of action, but in subtle, almost imperceptible shifts of awareness. A small realignment in how you perceive reality cascades into monumental alterations in how reality itself unfolds before you. Simply by keeping your focus here, simply by refusing to look away, you have already initiated the process. Something in you has stepped forward, chosen expansion, and that choice is now rippling outward into the structure of your life. This moment contains more power than you realize. You are not merely reading words. You are participating in a recalibration of your entire consciousness. You are reshaping the quantum field in which your reality takes form. Every pulse of attention you direct here collapses waves of probability into patterns that will shift the course of your future. You are not consuming content. You are co-creating your destiny. Neuroscience has revealed a staggering truth. Human beings overlook more than 90% of life-altering possibilities, not because they are incapable of seizing them, but because their unconscious mind rejects them before they even surface. Discomfort arises, fear flickers, the protective voice of hesitation whispers its warnings, and the opportunity disappears unnoticed. Nearly every door that could lead to transformation is silently closed by the mind before awareness ever reaches the handle. Even more astonishing is the discovery that your subconscious is already working several seconds ahead of your conscious awareness. As you take in these words, your unconscious has already chosen whether you will remain until the end, whether you will take action afterward, whether you will allow this moment to become the turning point it was designed to be. Life is sculpted not by theories, but by realities embedded in your biology, and those realities are operating right now. And yet, something extraordinary is happening beneath the surface. Physics itself confirms what ancient wisdom has whispered all along. Consciousness collapses probability into reality. What you focus on does not merely pass through you. It solidifies into the structure of your world. Every beat of attention you hold here is carving new grooves into the matrix of existence. You are reshaping the unseen field from which your future will arise. Consider the power of your heart. Its electromagnetic field is not a metaphor, but a measurable force, 5,000 times stronger than that of your brain, radiating beyond the boundaries of your body. As you allow these truths to resonate, your heart's field is changing, broadcasting new frequencies into the invisible architecture of the universe. You are transmitting a signal of transformation. That signal will draw to you experiences, encounters, and opportunities that align with the version of yourself that is now awakening. This is why certain messages feel destined, why certain moments strike you with force that cannot be explained by coincidence. They are not random collisions of chance. They are magnetic attractions born of resonance between your evolving consciousness and the vast intelligence of existence. This alignment is not an accident. It is orchestration. The universe itself has woven together every circumstance, every hesitation, every breath that carried you to this very point, so that you could receive the words you are reading now. Pause for a moment and recognize the immensity of what that means. Out of infinite possibilities, out of countless branching timelines, your higher self guided you here. Your soul recognized the frequency hidden within this message and pulled you toward it. This is your consciousness calling out to itself, arranging the perfect storm of circumstances to awaken what has long been dormant within you. This is not passive consumption. This is activation. The subtle voice that urged you to keep going, the whisper that told you this is important, that is not imagination. That is higher intelligence speaking. That is destiny unfolding. This is the moment of breakthrough, the moment when invisible chains of hesitation and fear begin to dissolve. Existence flows with or without your permission. Time advances regardless of your preparation. Each instant presents you with choices, microscopic and monumental alike, and each choice ripples outward into the ocean of probability. Every thought you form, every emotion you allow, every action you take is a stone dropped into water, generating currents that shape what is to come. One current carries you toward expansion, toward courage, toward the luminous horizon of the self you have always known you could become. This current is not smooth or effortless. It is demanding, it requires risk, but it rewards a life lived at its fullest capacity. It is the path of those who refuse to remain small, the path of the hero who dares to claim their destiny. The other current carries you into stagnation. It tempts with comfort, with ease, with the illusion of safety. But its waters are thick with the ghosts of dreams unlived, with the bitter residue of regret. It is the path of least resistance, the path chosen by many, but fulfilling to none. You stand at the fork. You stand in the precise instant where destiny bends. Do not imagine that your choices are neutral, that they can be postponed indefinitely without consequence. Each delay compounds. Each moment of hesitation builds into years of missed potential. Tomorrow is a promise that never arrives, the horizon that recedes with every step. Waiting for the perfect moment is a trap that ensures the moment never comes. Researchers call it the preparation paradox. The more you prepare, the less likely you are to act. The brain tricks you into believing that certainty must precede action, when in truth action is the only path to certainty. Those who leap with 70% readiness outpace those who wait for 90, for by the time they arrive at their false sense of security, the opportunity has already passed. The universe does not respond to perfection. It responds to momentum. Motion is a signal that ignites synchronicity, that calls forth resources unseen, that aligns circumstances in your favor. Each day you delay is not neutral. It is a day lost to the compounding force of inaction. Opportunities do not wait. They dissolve, they expire, they vanish into timelines that will never be yours. Greatness was never born awaiting for conditions to be ideal. No human being who changed the course of history ever felt fully ready. The innovators who lit the world were not granted confidence before they began. They stepped into the unknown with trembling hands and uncertain steps. Edison failed 1,000 times before the light broke through the filament. The Wright brothers, simple mechanics, launched themselves into the air long before they had assurance they could succeed. A dropout working from a garage reshaped the very way the world communicates. None of them began with certainty. They began with action. Readiness is not a feeling. Readiness is a decision. To evolve is to abandon the familiar, to release the self that cannot accompany you into the future. To grow is to shed skin after skin, to die to the person you've been so that you can become the person you are meant to be. This is never comfortable. Your ego will fight it. Fear will whisper elaborate tales of caution, demanding you stay where it is safe. But safety is a prison whose bars are made of excuses. Even now, your mind is calculating. Should I continue or should I retreat? Should I lean into the discomfort or escape into easier distractions? That single calculation is a dividing line between those who dream and those who manifest. One choice, one moment, one instant is all that separates destiny from regret. This here and now is that instant. The perfect moment does not exist. It is a myth crafted by fear, a story told by hesitation to keep you motionless. The illusion of readiness whispers through your thoughts, insisting that once you acquire more knowledge, more resources, more time, then you will begin. But those conditions never arrive. The stars never align into flawless symmetry. Life does not wait until you feel prepared. It unfolds relentlessly, demanding choices now, not someday. You have seen how waiting erodes possibility. Days turn into weeks, weeks into years, and suddenly the life you envision slips into memory as a dream unfulfilled. The tragedy of human existence is not that people fail spectacularly, but that they quietly surrender to hesitation. They let moments pass, allow inspiration to fade, and permit opportunity to dissolve without ever daring to act. Their prison is not built in a single instant of catastrophe, but in 1,000 tiny hesitations stacked upon one another until the walls close incompletely. Yet there is a truth more liberating than any excuse. Readiness is not an emotion. It is an act of will. Courage does not wait for fear to subside. It rises while fear screams. It steps forward while doubt lingers. It knows that confidence is not a prerequisite but a byproduct, born only through the very actions that once seemed impossible. Think of every skill humanity has ever mastered. No one learned to swim by studying the water from shore. No one learned to ride by merely imagining balance. No one mastered creation by reading endless theories. The light bulb was born from failure, repeated 1,000 times. Flight was achieved by those who risked crashing again and again. Every revolution of human potential began not with perfect plans, but with imperfect action. Education has conditioned you to believe knowledge must precede doing, that clarity must precede movement. But the architecture of life unfolds differently. In existence, doing comes first, clarity follows. You act your way into understanding. You stumble, adjust, adapt, and evolve. Waiting for certainty is waiting for a shadow to turn solid. The path does not reveal itself to those who analyze from the beginning line. It opens step by step to those who walk it. This is the paradox of mastery. You must be willing to begin badly in order to ever become great. Every expert was once a novice fumbling in the dark. Every master was once a disaster struggling to find footing. Those who transcend mediocrity are not the ones who waited until they felt ready. They are the ones who acted while trembling, who leapt while afraid, who understood that readiness is a decision made in the moment of uncertainty. Consider this truth. Your survival brain was designed not for fulfillment, but for your safety. It calculates risk, magnifies fear, and generates hesitation to keep you alive. It does not care if you thrive, if you grow, if you achieve what burns in your soul. It only cares that you remain unhurt. That ancient voice within you is not malicious. It is protective, but protection becomes imprisonment when obeyed without question. Listen to its whispers. They do not sound like terror. They sound like logic. They dress themselves in the language of responsibility and maturity. Be practical. Wait until the timing is right. You need more preparation. Think of what could go wrong. They echo with the tone of reason, yet behind their disguise lies nothing more than fear. Anxiety masquerading as wisdom. Limitation wearing the mask of prudence. Those who succeed are not free from this voice. They hear it just as you do. The difference is that they recognize it for what it is. They act despite its protests. They do not wait for silence. They move forward through the noise. They understand that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in its presence. Action generates momentum. Momentum creates progress. Progress builds confidence. And confidence, at last, silences the doubt that once held them captive. Every life-transforming moment begins with a micro-decision made in clarity before hesitation claws it away. Neuroscientists have proven that you have only seconds before protective mechanisms of the brain intervene. 5 seconds, sometimes less. Within that small window lies a divide between the person you are and the person you could become. Act within it, and you ignite transformation. Hesitate, and the window closes, perhaps forever. Imagine how many dreams have evaporated in those fragile seconds. A business idea never spoken aloud. A relationship never pursued. A skill never attempted. A chance never taken. Potential does not always die in dramatic collapse. More often, it dies in quiet hesitation. And with every moment of hesitation, the future contracts. But now consider the reverse, the power unleashed when you seize those seconds. Count down from 5, silence the hesitation, and move. Each time you do, you create a new trajectory, a new line of possibility radiating outward into the structural reality. The smallest action, taken immediately, begins to alter the entire composition of your life. A call made, a step taken, a risk embraced, all are seeds of futures unimaginable until they are planted. Understand this. You already contain everything required to begin. You are not missing the essential piece. You are not incomplete. You are not broken. The belief that something external must arrive first is the illusion that keeps humanity trapped. You are sufficient as you are, the dormant version of you that thrives, that persists, that refuses defeat already exists within. It is not a matter of creation, but of remembrance. This hidden self appears in the crucible of adversity. It surfaces when surrender seems inevitable, when despair presses down, when every reason to quit lines up before you. It is a part of you that has carried you through your darkest nights, that has borne the weight of grief, disappointment, and failure, yet still rises. That version of you is not theoretical. It has already lived within your flesh, endured your hardest hours, and emerged undefeated. You have survived 100% of your worst days. Your record is perfect. That is not weakness. It is strength of the highest order. It is proof that you possess the resilience required for transformation. You have walked through storms that would have shattered others. You have endured weights that once seemed unbearable. And yet here you are, still breathing, still searching, still yearning for more. That is evidence not of fragility, but of unbreakable force. Greatness is not granted to those born with fewer fears or lighter burdens. It is claimed by those who refuse to let those fears and burdens dictate their future. The difference lies not in circumstance, but in decision. The decision to act, to move, to embrace imperfection and chaos as the crucible of evolution. Understand this fully. Potential is not discovered like treasure buried in the world. It is awakened from within. It does not reside in external formulas or secret teachings. It does not wait in courses or gurus or hidden rituals. It lives in the choices you make, the actions you take, the courage you embody when fear demands retreat. Life divides between two forms of existence, fear-based and purpose-driven. Fear-based living is defensive. It avoids pain, seeks safety, and clings to familiar. It maintains survival but sacrifices expansion. It is the life of stagnation. Purpose-driven living is offensive. It creates meaning, embraces risk, and moves toward contribution larger than the self. It expands, it thrives, it transforms. Every moment is an invitation to choose between these two. Already you know the weight of both. You have felt the chains of fear-based existence, the hesitation, the regret, the silent disappointments. You have glimpsed the pulse of purpose-driven existence, those brief instants of courage when you dare to move, dare to hope, dare to reach. In those moments, life felt more vivid, more real, more alive. This is the invitation before you now, not tomorrow, not after further preparation, not when certainty finally arrives. Now, you already possess the mind to create solutions, the heart to endure hardship, the spirit to persist, and the hands to shape reality. No other permission is required. What more do you truly need? You hold perspectives no other human in history has ever carried. Your exact path, the victories, the wounds, the lessons, the insights, is unrepeatable, statistically impossible to duplicate. This uniqueness is not accidental. It is your contribution. The world is incomplete without it. If you withhold it, no one else can supply it. Your gifts, if unshared, remain forever absent from the unfolding of existence. The universe is not demanding perfection of you. It is not waiting for flawless execution. It is waiting for authenticity. It is inviting you to step into your role, not as someone who has every answer, but as someone willing to ask better questions. It is not asking you to feel ready. It is asking you to decide. Every decision is a vote for the future you will inhabit. Each act of courage or hesitation builds the architecture of your destiny. Even now, you are casting those votes. And in this moment, a truth reverberates louder than the excuses that have long echoed in your mind. You are already enough to begin. What holds most people captive is not a lack of intelligence, talent, or opportunity, but the internal voice that has disguised itself as their own. You know this voice well. It has spoken in your mind for years, whispering warnings, urging restraint, cloaked in the tone of reason. It tells you to wait, to be realistic, to lower your expectations, to doubt your worth. It insists that failure is inevitable, that rejection is guaranteed, that you are not ready and may never be. This voice has molded the contours of your decisions, dictated the trajectory of your choices, and shaped the very life you inhabit now. But it is not your true voice. It is not your authentic wisdom. It is the voice of fear, built from the rubble of past disappointments and the echoes of harsh words that pierce you when you were too young to defend yourself. It was assembled from the criticisms of others, from the conditioning of society, from the moments when hope was mocked or punished. It learned to speak in your tone, to use your reasoning, to present itself as logic. But strip away the disguise, and you find it is nothing more than anxiety masquerading as truth. This deceptive companion has grown strong over years of repetition. Every time you hesitated, it gained power. Every time you accepted its counsel, it deepened its hold. Like a lens fitted over your perception, it colors every possibility, convincing you to see limitation where there is freedom, danger where there is opportunity, impossibility where there is infinite potential. And yet, this voice is not omniscient. It does not know the future. It knows only the past, and assumes tomorrow will be nothing but repetition of yesterday. It cannot see possibility. It can only remember pain. It cannot envision growth. It can only recall disappointment. It is a false prophet, predicting outcomes it has no authority to declare. Still, how many moments of inspiration has it stolen from you? You have felt those flashes of clarity, when a dream shimmered within reach, when a bold action surged in your chest, when for an instant you saw who you could become. And just as swiftly, the voice appeared, not loud, not violent, but insistent enough to create hesitation. What if you fail? What if others judge you? What if you are not qualified? And within that pause, possibility dissolved. Potential died quietly in the silence of inaction. This is the unseen tragedy of human life. Not dramatic collapse, not catastrophic ruin, but the slow erosion of possibility through hesitation. Neuroscience has confirmed it. Within 5 seconds of inspiration, the brain intervenes. You have a tiny window to act before fear takes the wheel. 5 seconds to launch yourself forward before hesitation erects its walls. Within those 5 seconds lies a divide between the life you are living and the life you could be living. The most successful individuals are not spared from this mechanism. They feel the same hesitation. They hear the same warnings. The difference is that they move anyway. They seize the 5-second window. They count down, silence the voice, and leap. They know that if they wait for fear to subside, they will wait forever. They know that confidence does not precede action. It follows it. Courage is not born of certainty, but of motion. This is how businesses are launched, relationships begun, ideas brought into form, revolutions ignited, not through flawless readiness, but through imperfect, immediate action. The step may be small, it may be clumsy, it may even appear insignificant, but it is real, and reality responds to real movement, not to endless intention. Hesitation is a thief, but it can be defeated the moment you recognize it for what it is, the last defense of the smaller self you must leave behind. It is the ghost of your old patterns trying to hold you where you are. Each time you override it, you loosen its grip. Each time you act within the window, you weaken its power, until one day, you discover that it no longer commands you. It whispers still, but you move anyway. And in that simple decision lies freedom. Anxiety, after all, is clever. It does not parade as terror, but dresses itself as responsibility. It tells you to be sensible, to prepare longer, to wait for more confidence. It insists that the timing is wrong, that more clarity is needed, that prudence demands delay. These arguments are seductive because they sound wise. They sound mature, but they are nothing more than fear in disguise, wearing the clothes of reason to keep you bound. The path of transformation requires recognizing this deception, to see through the mask, to call the voice by its true name, and act in defiance of its counsel. Those who rise understand the secret. They do not wait for fear to vanish. They advance through it. They know that every expert was once uncertain, every master once a novice, every victor once unsure. They understand that readiness is not bestowed, it is claimed. Think of the light bulb, born from failure after failure. Think of the fragile flight of crude wings that carried humanity into the air. Think of inventions conceived in garages, ideas launched from dorm rooms, revolutions ignited by those with no pedigree but an unwillingness to wait. What separated them from the multitudes who shared the same dreams was not superior preparation. It was superior action. They began before they were ready. They stepped forward without permission. They claimed a future while others waited for it to arrive. This is a paradox of creation. You cannot prepare your way into mastery. You cannot analyze your way into certainty. The path reveals itself only to those who begin walking. The knowledge comes only to those willing to act first and learn later. In the realm of transformation, action precedes clarity, and momentum precedes understanding. Waiting for perfect conditions is waiting for a myth. The voice that insists you are not ready is not a guardian of truth, but a jailer of potential. And here's the key. You do not have to silence it to escape. You only have to move anyway. Its protests grow fainter each time you act despite them, until one day, its power is gone. You already possess everything required to begin. Intelligence, passion, resilience, creativity. All of it lives within you now. You have endured challenges that would have broken others. You have carried burdens heavier than most could imagine. The strength you seek is already proven in your survival. The resources you need will emerge as you move. The opportunities you long for will appear in response to your action. Nothing is missing from you except the decision to step forward. This moment is the proof. You would not be here if you lacked the capacity. You would not have arrived at these words if you were not ready. The very fact that you feel the resonance, the subtle stirring, the recognition of truth, that is evidence that the door is open. Your higher self guided you here, not to observe, but to act. Look within and see the truth. Every failure you have endured has carved resilience into your bones. Every disappointment has sharpened your insight. Every rejection has fortified your strength. Nothing has been wasted. The raw material of your struggles is the very substance from which your success will be built. The path you feared would disqualify you has instead prepared you. The truth is simple and astonishing. You are whole as you are. You do not need to become someone else to begin. You do not need to acquire perfection, to erase flaws, to gather more before you act. What you need is already within, waiting only for activation. Your potential does not hide in the future. It is not locked in some secret vault waiting to be discovered. It exists now, in the choices before you, in the courage waiting to be claimed, in the action you can take in this very instant. To awaken it is not to find something new, but to remember something ancient, the power that has always pulsed within you, forgotten but never lost. Consider this moment, this exact instant. You stand at a threshold. On one side is a life of repetition, of hesitation, of the quiet erosion of possibility. On the other side is a life of expansion, of courage, of transformation. The door is open. The choice is yours. The essence of transformation is not found in distant futures or elaborate strategies. It lives in the present, in the exact choice you make at this precise moment. Too many wait for life to announce their readiness, for fate to deliver a sign, for some external validation confirm their worth. But destiny does not operate on such terms. It does not wait until you feel prepared, until conditions appear perfect, until every doubt is silenced. Destiny ignites in the instant you decide to act. Each day, you build the architecture of your life, brick by brick, through decisions both vast and microscopic. Most never notice the structure they are building until they find themselves trapped inside its walls. They do not realize that every hesitation, every compromise, every delayed dream is another stone laid in the prison of their own making. By the time they awaken to their reality, The walls are high and the door is sealed, but you are not bound to that fate. Awareness has already cracked the structure. Recognition has already loosened the mortar. The chains you once accepted as natural are now revealed as illusions. The tragedy of someday no longer holds power over you because you have glimpsed the truth. The only moment that exists is now. Perfection is the most persuasive lie of the ego. It whispers that once the stars align, once the resources gather, once the plan is flawless, then action will be safe. But perfection never comes. It is a mirage that recedes the closer you approach. Those who wait for it wander endlessly, preparing, planning, convincing themselves they are being wise, while years slip quietly past. Researchers call it the preparation paradox. The longer people wait for readiness, the less likely they are to act at all. The brain convinces them that more certainty equals greater success, yet studies reveal the opposite. Those who act with 70% clarity consistently outperform those who wait for 90, because while the latter are still hesitating, the former are building momentum. By the time 90% certainty arrives, the opportunity has long since dissolved. The universe rewards momentum, not perfection. Movement is the language of growth. It is through stepping into uncertainty that the path illuminates itself. Think of driving at night. You cannot see the entire road stretching to the horizon. Your headlights reveal only a small distance ahead. But that is enough. You move forward into the light you have, and as you move, more the road becomes visible. Life functions the same way. You need not see the whole staircase to climb. You need only the courage to take the first step. Delay carries a cost far greater than most comprehend. It is not linear, but exponential. Each day of hesitation compounds against you, like interest working in reverse. If you begin saving today and double $1 daily, in 30 days you hold over $1 billion. Wait just 10 days to start, and that sum collapses to less than $1 million. The same principle governs opportunity. What you delay today does not merely pause progress. It erodes futures, shrinks horizons, and diminishes what could have been exponential growth. This principle applies to every sphere of life. The relationship you postpone pursuing, the skill you keep deferring, the opportunity you hesitate to seize. Each compounds in its absence, weaving a reality that feels increasingly limited and removed from what you know is possible. Delay is not neutral. It is corrosive. Consider the many who declare, "I will begin when I feel ready." They wait for confidence to arrive like a package delivered to their door, for motivation to strike like lightning, for a flawless plan to download into their minds fully formed. But confidence does not come first. Motivation does not precede action. Clarity is not gifted in advance. They are all earned through movement. Every legend of human achievement began in fear, in trembling hands, in uncertainty so thick it threatened to suffocate. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before he found success. The Wright brothers were mechanics with fragile wings and fragile hopes. Steve Jobs began in a garage, Mark Zuckerberg in a dorm. What distinguished them was not a magical absence of fear or an abundance of preparation, but the willingness to move despite uncertainty. They understood that waiting was death, but acting was life. This is a paradox of readiness. You do not act because you feel ready. You feel ready because you act. Readiness is not discovered. It is created in the crucible of doing. And yet, the ego resists with everything it has. It spins elaborate stories about why waiting is logical, why delay is responsible, why hesitation is maturity. But beneath its layers of reason is nothing but fear. The fear of risk, the fear of failure, the fear of loss. And though fear may protect, it also imprisons. Its job is to keep you safe, not to help you grow. Its concern is survival, not fulfillment. And survival without fulfillment is merely existence, not life. Even now, in this moment, your mind is choosing. Should you lean further into this truth, or should you retreat into familiar comfort distraction? Should you remain present with the discomfort transformation, or should you escape into the soothing numbness of repetition? That calculation is the exact dividing line between those who ascend and those who remain. This is why the idea of a perfect moment is so dangerous. It convinces you that waiting is harmless, but every moment of delay writes itself into your future. Each hesitation builds a trajectory you will one day regret. Tomorrow is always the excuse, the horizon that never arrives, the promise that dissolves into ashes the instant it is touched. The present is all you ever possess. The past exists only in memory. The future is unwritten. Only now is alive, breathing with possibility, trembling with infinite potential. Within this instant lies more opportunity than you could explore in lifetimes. The universe waits, heavy with synchronicities, miracles, and alignments. But it waits not for thought, not for contemplation, not for hesitation. It waits for action. The singular space where transformation occurs is the present. The past cannot be changed. The future cannot be entered. Only now can be claimed. And in claiming it, you shape the future into form. This is why this message has arrived precisely at this moment. Not a week ago, when you might have dismissed it. Not a month from now, when the opening would have closed. But now, when your consciousness is prepared to expand, when your soul is ready to awaken. This synchronicity is not coincidence. It is orchestration. Something larger than your rational mind has arranged this encounter. Can you feel it? The subtle knowing that forces beyond comprehension are at play? The sense that this moment is saturated with purpose? This is not random. This is the intersection of your readiness and the universe's infinite intelligence. Consciousness has called out to consciousness. Destiny has placed this key in your hand. But before you can step forward, you must confront the saboteur that lives within, the internal narrator of limitation, that voice whispering that you lack the ability, that you will surely fail, that you are not enough. It has been your constant companion, shaping your reality with its deception. It does not scream. It speaks softly, persuasively, in the tones of logic and caution. And because it sounds like you have believed it. But see it clearly, it is not you. It is a collection of shadows from the past. It is a residue of disappointments, the echo of criticisms, the weight of conditioning. It was built from the words of others, from the expectations of society, from the discouragements you once absorbed without question. It is an imposter wearing your voice. And it is time to strip it of its authority. The truth is this: you are not insufficient. You are not broken. You are not missing what you need. You are whole. You are complete. You are perfectly equipped to step into the path before you. Everything else is illusion. When you finally reject the voice of fear masquerading as wisdom, the universe opens. When you act despite hesitation, momentum builds. When you choose courage over delay, the path illuminates itself step by step. And when you recognize that the only real moment is now, you discover the power you have always possessed. This is your invitation. This is your turning point. This is the instant where hesitation dies and transformation begins. There's a voice inside you that has lived like a shadow for years, perhaps for decades. It has guided your decisions, shaped your beliefs, and whispered its judgments with a confidence authority. It tells you what you cannot do, what is too risky, what is unrealistic, what is impossible. It speaks as though it were the voice of reason, as though it were protecting you from danger. But in truth, it has been the greatest architect of your limitations. You recognize this voice because it speaks in your own tone. It borrows your cadence, imitates your thought patterns, and convinces you it is your authentic self. But it is not. It is a construction, a collage pieced together from the fears of others, from the criticisms that once wounded you, from the memories of failure you carried too heavily. Every time someone told you to lower your expectations, every time laughter met your ambition, every time rejection echoed in your chest, it built another brick in the wall of this voice. It does not see possibility, only risk. It does not imagine what could be gained, only what could be lost. Its only function is to keep you small, to protect you from pain by convincing you never to try. And yet, by avoiding pain, it ensures stagnation. By avoiding risk, it ensures mediocrity. By avoiding failure, it ensures regret. How many times has this voice stood between you and transformation? Recall the moments when inspiration struck, when a vision of your highest self flickered in your mind, when a surge of boldness lifted you, when you felt, even briefly, the electric pull of possibility. And then came the whisper, not dramatic, not violent, but heavy enough to plant hesitation. What if you fail? What will others think? You are not ready. You are not enough. In that hesitation, The door closed, the impulse faded, the dream dissolved, and you convince yourself it had never truly mattered, that you were wise to wait. This is how potential dies, not with explosions, but with sighs. Not in catastrophe, but in hesitation. Neuroscience has uncovered the mechanism. The brain grants you only seconds before fear seizes control. 5 seconds, sometimes less, from the moment inspiration arises to the moment doubt suffocates it. Within that window lies a line between action and regret, between possibility and memory. Those who rise have learned to claim this window. They do not wait for courage to arrive fully formed. They step into the moment before fear can close it. They count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and they move. This is the difference between those who dream and those who manifest. The dreamers wait for certainty. The manifestors move despite uncertainty. The dreamers hope for permission. The manifestors grant it to themselves. The dreamers prepare endlessly, while the manifestors stumble forward and learn through motion. Fear will always be intelligent. It will always present itself as logic. It will always disguise itself as responsibility. But logic that limits growth is not wisdom. It is anxiety in costume. Responsibility that prevents expansion is not virtue. It is fear pretending to be maturity. To awaken is to recognize the disguise and refuse to obey it. The courage to act despite fear does not erase fear. It transforms your relationship to it. Successful people do not feel less fear. They are not immune to hesitation. They simply see fear as evidence they are stepping beyond the boundaries of the familiar. They use it as a compass pointing toward growth. Fear signals not that you should retreat, but that you are approaching the threshold of transformation. Confidence does not precede this step. It follows it. Confidence is born in motion, sculpted by progress, fortified by persistence. Every master you admire was once a novice filled with doubt. Every expert began unprepared. Every triumph began in trembling, but they moved anyway. They understood that clarity comes through action, not before it. That understanding is revealed to those who begin, not to those who wait. The education systems of the world may have taught you that learning comes first and action follows, but life is not structured in such order. In life, action births knowledge. Doing precedes understanding. You learn to swim by entering the water, not by reading about waves. You learn to create by creating badly, again and again, until skill takes shape. The path of growth is littered with imperfect beginnings, because perfection is a child of persistence, not preparation. What you have endured in your life has already equipped you with resilience few acknowledge. Think of the days that seemed unendurable, when the weight of existence pressed down so heavily you were certain it would crush you, yet you endured. Think of the losses you believed would shatter you, yet you still stand. Think of the failures that whispered a final defeat, yet somehow you continued. These are not marks of weakness. They are proof of your power. You have survived 100% of your worst days, not by accident, not by luck, but by the quiet strength that lives within you even when you do not recognize it. That strength has been tested, tempered, and revealed. It is not fragile. It is not fleeting. It is the foundation of your transformation. Those who ascend do not carry lighter burdens or easier paths. They carry determination forged in the crucible of their struggles. They have no certainty of outcome, no flawless plans, no guarantees of success. They move because standing still is no longer acceptable. They act because the risk of regret outweighs the risk of failure. They rise because the cost of remaining the same has become too great. You, too, have reached that threshold. That is why you are here. That is why this moment has found you. Not to entertain, not to distract, but to activate. The key has always been in your possession. The only thing left is to use it. Every day, hundreds of choices pass through your mind. Most are small, unconscious, automatic. Yet within them lies the power to reshape your entire trajectory. You can choose to see obstacles or opportunities. You can choose to see setbacks or lessons. You can choose to see yourself as incomplete or as perfectly equipped. These choices accumulate, compounding like interest, building the reality you inhabit. Do not underestimate the power of a single choice. Every great transformation begins with one. A decision to move forward when hesitation begged retreat. A decision to begin despite not knowing how the ending would look. A decision to claim the present rather than wait for the myth of perfect timing. The power you seek is not outside you. It does not rest in circumstances or resources or approval. It has never been external. It has always been internal. The ability to decide, to act, to move despite uncertainty is the single force that has shaped every triumph in human history. It is the same force waiting now in you. What more proof do you require? The fact that you are still here, still reading, still resonating with these words, is evidence enough. The vast majority would have drifted away by now, seduced by distraction, pulled back into the fog of habit. But you have remained. Something in you knows that this is not just content. This is a turning point. This is destiny calling itself back into alignment. You are not broken. You are not lacking. You are not waiting for anything outside yourself. You are whole, complete, and equipped. You carry within you the mind to imagine, the heart to endure, the spirit to persist, the hands to build, and more than that, you carry the singular combination of experiences and perspectives that no other soul in human history has ever possessed. You are not replaceable. You are not interchangeable. Your contribution is yours alone to make. If you do not fulfill it, it remains unfulfilled. If you do not share it, it remains unshared. If you do not pursue it, it remains only a dream. The universe is not pressuring you. It is inviting you, not demanding perfection, but requesting authenticity, not requiring certainty, but asking for courage, not promising ease, but offering purpose. This is the invitation you have waited for, though it comes not from outside, but from within. It is not the universe granting permission. It is you. You are the one who decides. You are the one who chooses. You are the one who declares that hesitation will no longer dictate your future. The moment is here. The power is yours. And the choice is waiting. The world has conditioned you to believe that something outside yourself is missing, that until you acquire that missing piece you cannot begin. It tells you that you need more talent, more resources, more certainty, more permission. And so you search, reaching outward for validation, waiting for signs, convincing yourself that the right moment has not yet come. But the truth is radical and liberating. Everything you need already lives within you. You are not broken. You are not incomplete. You do not need to wait for some external gift to make you whole. Beneath the layers of conditioning, beneath the doubts instilled by others, beneath the scars of disappointment, your power remains intact. Dormant perhaps, forgotten perhaps, but never absent. It pulses quietly at the core of your being, waiting for recognition. This version of you, the one who persists when others falter, the one who refuses mediocrity, the one who demands more from life, it already exists. It is not a figure you must build from nothing, but a self you must remember. It emerges not when the world finally grants you permission, but when you stop hiding it beneath layers of fear and hesitation. And when it emerges, everything changes. Purpose replaces distraction. Determination replaces doubt. Action replaces delay. The small, self-protective stories that once held you vanish in the light of truth. You realize that the only risk greater than stepping forward is refusing to. That the only true danger lies not in failure, but in never daring at all. Life is not measured by the absence of mistakes, but by the presence of persistence. Success does not belong to those who never fall, but to those who rise each time they do. The path of growth is paved with obstacles, but each one is raw material for your transformation. Every challenge strengthens your resolve. Every setback teaches you resilience. Every difficulty prepares you for greater heights. Think of the struggles you have endured already, the losses you believed would break you, the disappointments that cut deep, the moments when giving up seemed the only option. Yet you did not give up. You are still here, still breathing, still searching, still reaching. That is not fragility. That is unbreakable strength. That is proof that you are far more powerful than you allow yourself to believe. The most successful people are not those who glide through life untouched by hardship. They are the ones who refuse defeat. They face storms, but they walk through them. They fall, but they rise again. They fail, but they persist. Their secret is not immunity from struggle, but a different relationship with it. Where others see an end, they see preparation. Where others see ruin, they see raw material. Where others see defeat, they see fuel. This is how transformation is forged, not in the absence of challenge, but in the embrace of it. Your greatest power is not found in ease, but in endurance, not in comfort, but in courage, not in certainty, but in movement through uncertainty. When you adopt this truth, everything shifts. You no longer seek permission from others, because you realize you can grant it to yourself. You no longer crave validation, because you recognize your worth is not dependent on anyone else's approval. You no longer wait for conditions to improve, because you understand you can create conditions through action. The key has always been in your possession. It is the power of decision. Each day, you make hundreds of decisions, most without awareness. But hidden within them lies the power to redirect the entire arc of your life. You can decide to see differently, to act differently, to choose differently. You can decide that fear will no longer dictate your future. You can decide that hesitation will no longer imprison your potential. You can decide here and now that your transformation begins not someday, not eventually, but immediately. This is not a call to reckless abandon. It is a call to authenticity, a call to live in alignment with what you already know within yourself to be true. The universe is not asking you to be flawless. It is not demanding that you never stumble. It is inviting you to be real, to bring your unique gifts forward, to step into the role only you can fulfill. Because here's the truth no one else can embody. Your exact combination of experiences, struggles, victories, and lessons has never been repeated in human history and never will be again. Out of billions, you are singular. The lens through which you see the world, shaped by your journey, is yours alone. That perspective is not disposable. It is essential. The world is incomplete without it. If you do not contribute it, no one else can. If you do not share it, it remains unshared. If you do not live it, it remains unlived. This is not pressure, it is invitation. An invitation to recognize that your presence matters, that your gifts matter, that your path is not trivial, but necessary. And yet, too many live as though their dreams are optional, as though their contributions are replaceable, as though someone else will surely step in and do what they were meant to do. But the universe does not duplicate purpose. If you do not embody it, it remains absent. The song remains unsung, the painting unpainted, the idea unformed, the life unlived. This realization is not meant to burden you, but to awaken you, to reveal that your life is not a mistake, that your path is not meaningless, that your existence is not incidental. You are here for a reason. You carry something essential, and it is time to release it. Transformation is not about perfection. It is about decision, not about waiting for certainty, but about choosing courage in the face of uncertainty, not about eliminating fear, but about refusing to let fear dictate your choices, not about erasing doubt, but about acting despite it. And now, the single most powerful element of all, decisive action. Every concept you have absorbed until this moment, every truth that has resonated, every stirring that has awakened in your chest, they mean nothing without action. Knowledge without application is wasted. Insight without movement is forgotten. Inspiration without execution is decay. The difference between those who change and those who remain the same is not what they know, but what they do. Most fail here. They listen, they resonate, they feel the spark, and then they do nothing. They return to old routines, to old patterns, to old comforts. They let the moment fade. They allow hesitation to reclaim its throne, and in doing so, they bury their transformation before it begins. But you are not like most. You would not have remained this long if you were. Something in you is different. Something in you is restless, yearning, unwilling to settle. Something in you knows that this moment carries the weight of destiny, that these words are not mere words, but activation, that this is the turning point you have sought. So what is the action? It does not need to be monumental. It does not need to be flawless. It does not need to impress anyone else. It needs only to be real. Make the call you have avoided. Begin the project you have postponed. Speak the truth you have silenced. Take the step, however small, that aligns with a vision of who you know yourself to be. Because here is a paradox. The size of the step does not matter. Its reality does. One genuine step alters everything. One decision reshapes the field of probability around you. One action begins a chain reaction that cascades into transformation, while others wait for perfect time, for more certainty, for the vanishing of fear. You can choose now. And in choosing now, you will discover what they never will, that the universe responds not to hesitation, but to motion. The past is gone. It cannot be altered. The future is unwritten. It cannot be lived yet. Only now exists. Only now carries power. Only now can be claimed. This is the invitation. This is the threshold. This is your moment. Imagine your future self. 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Who is that person? What do they carry? What do they remember? What do they thank you for? There are two versions of the self. One looks back with gratitude. They remember this very moment as a turning point, the instant when everything began to shift. They remember the courage you demonstrated today, the choice you made to step forward despite fear, the decision to act despite uncertainty. They thank you for refusing to wait, for refusing to postpone, for refusing to surrender. They stand taller because you chose differently. They live in abundance because you dared. They are free because you acted. The other version looks back with regret. They remember this moment too, but not with gratitude, with sorrow. They remember the stirring in their soul, the recognition of truth, the glimpse of possibility. They remember the whisper urging them to act. And they remember the hesitation, the overthinking, the decision to wait. They remember convincing themselves that there would be more time, that tomorrow would be better, that certainty would arrive. But tomorrow never came. Hesitation became weeks. Weeks became months. Months became years. And when they look back, they know this was a moment they abandoned their transformation. Both versions are possible. Both await, but only one will be lived. And which one unfolds depends not on chance, not on fate, but on the decision you make right now. Time is the most precious resource you will ever have, and it is the only one that cannot be replenished. Every day you wait is a day you cannot recover. Every opportunity you delay is one that may never return. Every dream you postpone is one that may never be realized. The cost of hesitation is not theoretical. It is carved into fabric of your future. Stop searching for permission outside yourself. Stop waiting for validation to arrive. Stop hoping for the perfect moment. It will not come. It has never existed. The only sign you require is this very message. The only confirmation you need is the recognition in your own heart. The fact that you are here proves you are ready. The resonance you feel proves this is yours. The sense that destiny itself has aligned proves the time is now. Do not look outward for proof. Look inward. You know this to be true. You always have. Somewhere deep inside, you have always known that you were meant for more, that your life carried a weight, that your existence held a purpose. That knowing has never left you. It has only been buried beneath the noise of fear, the weight of doubt, the illusions of insufficiency. But here, in this moment, it rises again. It calls to you. It demands recognition. So listen. Listen not to the voice of fear, but to the voice beneath it, the quiet certainty that you are more than your hesitation, the undeniable truth that you are already equipped, the persistent whisper that urges you to begin. That is your higher self. That is your authentic power. That is the voice of destiny. This is a turning point. This is the threshold. This is the moment where the trajectory of your life bends. You can choose hesitation and live the story of regret, or you can choose action and live the story of transformation. You do not need to know every step. You need only to claim the next one. The path will reveal itself as you walk. The road will appear beneath your feet as you move. The resources will arrive once you commit. The synchronicities will align once you begin. The universe has an odd and beautiful way of responding to those who choose themselves. When you move forward despite fear, doors open that would have remained hidden. When you act despite uncertainty, resources appear that you could not have imagined. When you claim your purpose, Allies arrive to support it. It is not magic. It is alignment. By stepping into action, you change your position in the web of possibility. You make yourself visible to opportunities that could not find you before. Do not underestimate this law. Transformation is not passive. It is not bestowed. It is not handed to you while you wait. It emerges through engagement. It unfolds through motion. It manifests through decisions. The life you crave will not arrive while you hesitate. It will emerge the instant you act. So act. Do not wait another day, another hour, another breath. Begin now. Begin small if you must, but begin. Make the call. Take the step. Start the practice. Open the door. It does not matter how imperfectly. It matters only that you do. Action creates clarity. Movement generates momentum. Progress builds confidence. The staircase will not appear until you climb the first step. The path will not light until you begin to walk it. You cannot think your way into transformation. You must act your way into it. Understand this deeply. Clarity comes not before action, but through it. The successful do not act because they are certain. They act, and through action certainty emerges. They do not wait for the road to be revealed. They walk, and the road reveals itself step by step. Life is like driving through night. Your headlights illuminate only a small distance ahead. You cannot see the destination from the starting line, but if you move forward into the light you have, you will eventually arrive. The same is true of your journey. You do not need to see every step. You need only to see the next one. And the next step is here. You were meant to see this at this exact moment. Not before, not after. Now, you were guided here because your soul is ready to awaken, because your consciousness is prepared to expand, because your destiny is waiting to be claimed. This message is not coincidence. It is synchronicity. It is alignment. It is consciousness calling to consciousness. Now go and become the person you were always meant to be. Not tomorrow, not when the conditions are perfect, not when fear subsides. Now, the world waits for your contribution. The universe waits for your authenticity. Your future waits for your decision. This is your moment. This is your threshold. This is your breakthrough. Choose courage. Choose authenticity. Choose now.